Holy shit! That's a big building. The monolith sat tall, looming over us as if we were pitiable. Fuck. Let me try that again. The monolith sat tall, looming over us as if we were pitiable little slugs, ready to get squished under its boot. The sky always looked different here. Looked wrong, somehow. The normal and ever-present set of pillowy clouds congealed into this fluid jelly that seemed to want to slither inside the tower through every small crack and opening and swallow everything inside. It never would, though. It simply maintained a comfortable distance from the tower out of fear. A fear that was starting to make its way into me as I gazed upon the monolith. It doesn't matter how many times I see it, still floors me on how huge this thing is. Wow, I've never been this close to it before. Oops. It's so big! Yeah, it's big alright. Puck stormed past us and went inside, hands in his pockets. Ooh, do we get to meet the mother? Rich and I followed Pucks inside, brows furrowed and somewhat offended. Do we get to see Mama? Mama? The lobby was a bit underwhelming compared to the rest of the building. It was also considerably more damp than I thought the Mother Matron would like it. For some reason, I thought someone would be meeting us here. Apparently there's no welcoming committee. There's an intercom, though. A what? Over there. I forget what Puck sounds like. It's been a while since I've recorded. He gestures to a strange box on the wall with two dimly lit red lights on it. It's an intercom. Something you can use to talk to someone who's in a different part of the building. Oh, I see. You're really smart, huh? He's blushing. Aww. How does it work? Well, I've never used one, just read about them in some old books I found. I think you're supposed to press that button and talk to it. Oh, I see. With none of us wanting to actually press the button, we stood there until awkwardness decided to rest itself on the moment. So, you gonna press it or what? Huh? I didn't realize I was supposed to. Well, of course you are. You wanted to see how it works. Best way to do that is to use it. Ugh. I hesitantly press a finger on the button. What do I say? My voice cracked from the nerves. Sorry. What do I say? I don't know. I guess hi were the three the Mother Matron summoned. 12th floor. We all jumped a mile in our shoes. Fucking shit! I guess it heard you, Pucks. I guess it heard you, Pucks. Shut the fuck up. Pucks, was that really called for? Don't really care. Let's move. We gotta hit the 12th floor. Pucks is a bitch. Pucks stormed off. Again. Rich's eyes were glued to the floor. He looked like a sad little mouse and I felt my heart twinge for him. He's kind of a jerk, isn't he? No, he's not so bad. I think he's just scared, like me. He just shows that differently. Rich. We should get going. Yeah, you're right. Up the stairs. After an exhausting climb up quaky stairs, we find ourselves on the 12th floor. The landing leads us to a narrow hallway, with the walls of which lay flat and uncomfortably angular and sharp, extremely artificial looking. It felt as if the hallway was made out of sharp knives resting against each other, waiting for the right moment to slice us to ribbons. The hall terminates in an aged doorway made of wood and fogged glass. Behind it, theoretically, was the dear Mother Matron, waiting to greet us and embrace her dear children. I finally get to meet the paragon of kindness that I knew as the caretaker of every girl and boy I knew. And yet, every synapse in my body was afire, screaming at me to turn and run. I kept my feet firm, but were my skin sentient, it would have ripped itself of my flesh and jumped out the closest window I could find. I guess this is it. Are you sure? This place is so... I don't know. Something about it bothers me. I'm as positive as I can be. Well, it's nice of you to volunteer to go first, Pucks. You're such a great guy. I didn't say anything about that, you dipshit. Shh! Stop yelling! I'll go first. I volunteered so confidently just to get them to shut up, but the instant I had said it, I had felt instant regret. I was totally gonna do it anyway, but fine, if you insist. Thanks, Lizzie! And so I stepped closer. Jump scare. Oh no, it's not a jump scare. Nice. I reached my hand to open the door. I knocked. Hello? We're here, Mother Matron. We're coming in. I clasped the doorknob. I twisted it, only to find it locked. Huh? What the fuck is that? Eek! Silence filled the hall. Are you Mother Matron? Hello? Anyone there? Silence filled the hall yet again. Then a crackling static buzz leaks in from the ceiling above us. I looked up to see a speaker above us. A warm and tender voice laced with static drips through the perforated disc in the ceiling.
Yes, my darlings, your Mother Matron is here. You are all ready to do what I ask of you, yes?
We're here, aren't we? Get on with it.
I'll elect to ignore your impotent tone, Pucks. For now.
Wait. Aren't you going to come see us?
No, my children. I am unable to leave this chamber. I have kept this a secret so as to prevent a panic, but your Mother Matron is very sick.
A raspy cough erupts through the speakers, hissing and peaking.
Alas, I must remain secluded.
Doesn't even have the courtesy to see us off before she sends us to be butchered. Pucks! How the fuck do you say that?
Do you have something to say, Punstani?
No. Just wondering when you were gonna get to the point.
Because of my illness, I am unable to carry out the grand mission of the collective, which is what you have been called here for, my children.
Grand mission? What's the grand mission?
We seek the womb of paradise, my beloved. It is no secret that life in the boarding is difficult. I have tried my hardest to make it as wonderful as possible for you all, but there is only so much that can be done. I dream of a future where we can leave the boarding and travel to a place of peace and love and kindness. This is what the womb of paradise is, my dears. It is your real home, where you all belong, and it lies in the depths of the CREPUSCULE.
So that's what the surveyors are meant to do? Search for the womb of paradise in the crepuscule?
Yes, the honorable surveyors are to carry on the mission of seeking the womb of...
Yeah. Search for the MacGuffin in the creepy dark tunnel. We get it. How will we know what it looks like, and what are we supposed to do once we find it?
You are fortunate that I have patience for such impudence. You will know that when you find it... Oh, you will know it when you find it. It is a paradise beyond measure, and possibly resplendent and inviting. A place where all your troubles will melt away like ice. Once you find it, should you succeed in doing so, you are returned to the boarding so that you may guide your siblings on the great journey. Am I understood? Any questions?
I have one, Mommy. Why haven't we heard about this grand mission before? The womb of paradise sounds wonderful. I wish I could have started looking for it earlier. I would have been right by your side the whole time searching, if possible.
Rich, my dear boy, the womb of paradise lies in the dangerous depths below. You were only going there because it has become necessary. Were I not in a state of unwellness, I'd make the journey myself. I do not want to compel my children to delve into the darkness unless I have to.
I see. That's so considerate of you, Mommy. Pucks groans loudly. I have a question too. Is there anything you can do to help us succeed? Anything you can give us? Some advice, maybe? Ha! Shaft. Fuck.
Near the shaft leading to the CREPUSCULE, there is a locker room filled with various items. You are free to take anything from there that might be of use.
Holy shit, my mic was muted.
As far as advice, all I can offer is to never give up hope. Keep seeking paradise, even when it feels impossibly out of reach.
I have a question too, Mother. The word mother leaves his lips like a loogie. It's like he hates that word in his mouth. Why would you pick us? Out of all the kids you could have picked, why us specifically? Suddenly, coughing erupts again, more intense than before.
I must rest now, my dears. Please hurry. I do not know how much longer I have left for this world. I must bring you to paradise before I depart this mortal coil. Be vigilant. I love you.
Silence. I guess that's the end of the conversation. Pucks glared towards Mother Matron's receding shadow. I tapped him on the shoulder gently. I guess she left. He continued to glare for a moment, but finally turned away. Let's fucking go already. Pucks made his way to the stairs. Rich and I exchanged looks, then followed suit. Wordlessly, we went down the long set of stairs to the first floor. It was less tiring going down than going up, fortunately. The locker room itself sat in a hall to the side of the stairs, positioned towards the back of the monolith structure. The lockers themselves were in terrible condition. Most of the doors had either fallen off or were seemingly kicked in. We were all still shaken from the conversation with the Mother Matron, but we tried our best not to let our fear manifest itself. Let me save. Rich was the first to speak. Yeesh. This smells horrible. No kidding. Let's get our shit and get going. Carefully avoiding puddles and scummy tiles, Pucks stepped past Rich to the lockers. He began rooting through them. What do you see? Nothing mind-blowing, but something's better than nothing in this situation, I suppose. Here. Pucks tossed a crowbar towards Rich. The crowbar nearly bonked him on the head and knocked him out, but he fortunately caught it with a yelp. Ah! Careful! You caught it, didn't you? Pucks rummages around some more. Yeah, this could work. Here, Lizzie. Take this. I got a knife! Pucks, fortunately, handed me a large knife. It was a lot heavier than it looked. Careful. Careful. It's not the sharpest thing, but you could still cut yourself pretty easily with it. I carefully ran my right hand against the side of the blade. Its rusty surface felt scratchy against my fingertips. I'll be careful with it. What are you taking? Pucks pulled out a large wooden baseball bat. He took a few slow practice swings with it, getting comfortable with its weight. I'm taking this slugger. It suits you. Do you play baseball? I used to. I had a couple friends I used to play with, but... Never mind. That's not important. It was brief, but I saw his eyes briefly filled with sadness. I feel bad for asking, but I had the feeling apologizing would just hurt him more. Are there any tools in those lockers or something? I feel like we might need those. I have some in my toolbox, but let me take a look. Doesn't hurt to have more to work with. Pucks rummaged around some more, then shouted in excitement. Aha! A toolbox! Let's see what's inside. Not bad. Seems well stocked. Some of the tools are kinda old and rusty, but they'll get the job done. Adding you beauties to my collection. Alright. I think this is everything we need. Or, at least, everything we're gonna have. Whoopsies. Are you two ready? Yes, I suppose so. Me too. As ready as I'll ever be. Pucks nodded and led us on. Through the shower room was a room that was largely empty, save for one old hatch. I think this is it. I swallowed hard. I could hear the light chattering of teeth behind me, probably coming from Rich. I looked at them, nodded, then went down the hatch. We now stood in a long, dark tunnel which extended far ahead into pure darkness. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna spastically save now. We're getting into the meat. Oh dear. Take a little sippy sip of my drink. The tunnel felt unnaturally cold, both to the skin and to the soul. The very air carried the message. This was a place that held nothing but abject misery. Even if you were blind to the decrepit appearance of the tunnel, the cold would tell you this was a place where happiness had never been. We could see our breath in the tunnel, white mist punctuating each exhalation. Brr, you wouldn't happen to have another sweater, would you, Lizzie? No, sorry. It's not really helping me as much as you think it would. Still, bet it feels warmer than what we're wearing. I hope it's less cold further in, but that's probably futile. Shall we get going? Pucks and Rich nodded. We descended further into the tunnel, trying not to pay mind to the fact that our chances of coming back out alive were slim to none. The craggy tunnels were illuminated by lonely light bulbs, which miraculously had not burned out. Who knows how long they had been burning down here? This must be some kind of mine. Really? What makes you say that? I've read some books about them, and the pictures in them look a hell of a lot like this place does. I bet you 20 Dracs will find mining equipment somewhere up ahead. I thought back to my market purchases earlier today. Well, unfortunately for you, I'm broke. What a shame. I'll take an IOU then. I gave a little laugh at that. It was nice to see that Bucks had a lighter side to him. Hey guys, look at this. What is it? I think it's a journal or something. Resting on a wooden bench against the wall was a small little book with a black leather, or maybe faux leather, cover. Let me take a look at it. Do we really have time for this? I'll take any excuse to not go further in, thank you very much. I thumbed through the journal. Many pages were water damaged and illegible, but I eventually found a section that was somewhat readable. I read aloud. Okay, hang on. I love how it feels inside of me. I love the feeling of it crawling around inside my guts. The razors on its fingers scrape the walls, and it hurts and bleeds, but I feel beautiful. The feeling of a life inside, feeding of my insides. Everything about me keeps it alive. I will protect it with my life, even if it hurts. I will kill if I have to kill. I will pillage if I have to pillage. When I rest as dust, to be blown off the top of an old shelf, scattering into the air as grain, remembered not for how I stood, but for the thing that grew inside me. I cannot wait for it to hatch and crawl out from between my legs. It's kicking. The rest of the entry was illegible, and the writing stopped shortly after this point. What did any of that mean? It sounded like it was written by someone with a few screws loose. I wouldn't read that deep into it. What? I don't know. We looked around frantically. We couldn't see any— Oh, what the fuck? Frick is that thing? There, behind Rich, I saw something that my mind could scarce comprehend. A horrible lumbering tower of meat with glassy blue eyes that stared with a cold hunger and malice. It writhed in the distance, a living nightmare that was delighted to know that none of us could wake up to escape it. While it was hard to determine exactly where its attention was drawn, it was clear that Rich was in its sights. That's when it reared up and charged at Rich. If I didn't do something, that monstrosity would do something terrible to him. Yell out to Rich, "Throw my knife at the creature!" I had the knife with me! There was no way I'd be able to get between Rich and the beast, but maybe I could cripple it, or at least stun it. I raised the knife and mentally marked the beast's eye as my target. Take this! I threw my knife. And stuck Rich right through the eye! Oh, fuck! Oh no! What the fuck, Lizzie? Rich did not scream at me. He was silent. The knife had likely struck his brain. Rich went limp and fell to the ground. I had killed Rich. Rich was dead by my hand. I was in disbelief. I stood there frozen, in complete shock and horror at what I had done. The beast did not wait for me to grieve. It lunged at me. Lizzie! Fuck! That did not go well. pain. An eruption of fire in my chest that flared down the whole width of my torso. The accumulation of millions of tiny little pins pricking their way through my flesh. While I stood there in complete shock, unable to comprehend the manslaughter I had committed, the creature charged and impaled me on its filthy teeth. The saliva that coated them burned my insides. I could feel it turning my vital organs into a slurry of protein that the creature could suck down its gullet. I collapsed. Puck screamed my name again. I didn't hear it, though. I was already gone. The crepuscule had claimed another. What the fuck?